Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Behind the Signs. We are talking with Jason Eby of Jaco Wholesale Sign Manufacturing. Jason, welcome to Behind the Signs. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
I am a huge supporter of all things wholesale. We've interviewed a few other folks that do wholesale manufacturing, and I think it's a great way to introduce yourself to the sign community because wholesaling obviously is a way that sign shops can expand their business, sell more products without having to have a bigger shop. So looking for, and it's a challenge sometimes to look for and find really good quality wholesale. So glad we found you, our paths crossed. So tell us a little bit about your company, how you came to start the sign shop and what brought you to the sign industry and exactly what you guys do there at the shop.
Yeah. So I had some experience with some laser engraving and cutting before getting into the sign industry, and ran into another guy who does some wholesale signage. A lot of what he does is different type of signage than what we offer. And he kind of encouraged me, hey, if you have a large laser and start doing acrylic dimensional signs, there's a lot of need for that. You could really serve the sign industry well. So that's kind of how I got into that. And we're good friends, me and that other guy. And so he's been really helpful with helping me kind of step into the sign industry without having much knowledge of it beforehand.
Yeah.
So what we offer is pretty much one main thing. Currently, we're doing laser cut acrylic dimensional letters. And so we can do Pantone colors, color matching, stud mount systems, all of that. But we're mainly focused on that one product, trying to do one thing really well and serve sign shops well with that.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I know there are some wholesalers that do a wide variety of signage, obviously some of the really, really big ones, but I love some of the more small niche wholesalers. I've worked over the years with some ones that just specialize in print, but I think it's great that you are specializing in dimensional letters. So I went to your website, sign.supply, which is, that's a pretty easy one. That's a great URL. So you guys do some really nice looking projects for sure. What was say one of your favorites that you did that maybe had some challenges or anyway, or one that you just really love doing that you're proud of?
Yeah. So I like doing unique things, and we've done various ones like that. Some of them that kind of stand out to me are, really large signs that you have to kind of break up into sections because they're so big. So that's kind of fun. One that we did was for the Atlanta Braves stadium. I think it was like a sponsor of one of their games or something. So that was like 1 inch thick acrylic with an aluminum laminate face on it. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
To have something that connected to a team that so many people know and appreciate. So,
well, great. You have a lot of different projects on your site. They all look beautiful. I mean, your work looks pretty much impeccably perfect. So,
well, thank you.
well, so say I'm, whether I'm an electric sign shop and, I don't do a ton of acrylic dimensional letters, or I'm a small vinyl commercial shop and I don't have a router, I don't have a laser cut or anything, and I want to start getting it because to me, it seems like flat cutout or dimensional cutout letters. It's a good next step of introducing products to your customer if you don't have that kind of equipment before like getting into electric signs where it's a much more complicated thing to do. So if I'm a small commercial vinyl shop, have a couple guys want to get into some dimensional letters, where do I start? I go to your website, and how do I get a hold of you, and how do I get quotes, and how does that whole process work?
Yeah. So you go to our website, like you said, sign.supply. There's a contact form on there that you can fill out. If you're a first-time sign shop, there'll be a place where you can mark a checkbox on there, upload your sales tax exemption form, since we're wholesaling it to you and then you're retailing it. And then you would fill out details for the job that you want quoted. And then there's also a file upload there where you can upload files for that job. And we try to get quotes back to you within 24 hours.
That's amazing.
Or faster if possible. One of the things that we understand about running a business is there's so many moving parts. There's so many things that you're trying to keep track of. The last thing that we want for you to do is have to worry about whether we're going to get back to you in time and get your jobs to you in a decent time. So we don't want you to have to keep bugging us 3 days later. Where's my quote?
Right.
Meanwhile, your customer went down the road to the sign shop next door and already ordered a day ago or whatever. So
Yeah.
we try to get back to you really quickly. That's the process for getting a quote. Once you're ready to go ahead and place the order, you would just contact us. We'll send you the invoice. If you sent a vector file when we gave you a quote, then we'll have that on file already. If not, you can send us that vector file. And then as soon as we receive payment, we're going to put it into production and try to get that turned out for you. So typical turnaround time is about 7 to 10 days.
That's great.
So we try to have a pretty quick turnaround there as well.
Great. And so as far as the files go, so when you're sending when you send a production file to you, if it's just a vector file and it has the dimensions on it, do you guys like scale it up and get it all ready for cutting? Or do you require like a full ready to go production file from the sign shops?
Pretty much we require production ready file.
Okay.
So a vector file, it should be scaled to size. It should have details on there, at least for the quote process, it should have details on there, what colors, what thicknesses. Do you want stud mount? Do you want double-sided tape? Kind of what details do you need there? Okay. So, yeah, that's what we request. We like EPS files. We can deal with other vector files, but that's our preferred.
Okay, that's great. That sounds easy enough. Most sign shops know how to scale up their production files. So so then the order comes in, and you guys make it, wrap it up, and send it. And so when you send it out, it comes with all the mounting hardware, mounting patterns, all that stuff. How does all that work?
Yeah, so with a stud mount system, obviously you're going to have a paper pattern. We'll include that with it. We'll include the studs. The letters will already be tapped for those. You just tape the paper pattern on the wall, make sure it's level and centered, drill through it at the marked spots, and put your letters on the wall, and they should be spaced out perfectly. If you do double-sided tape, we'll do a rigid pattern. Typically, we'll do that out of cardboard, so it's flexible, but it doesn't break like if you did a rigid stencil out of thin acrylic or something. It could break at the weak, thin spots. So typically, we do that out of cardboard. You just tack that on the wall, pop your letters right through that. They should be spaced out well. You can just pull that right off the wall after you're done. So
great. That sounds easy.
Yeah.
Well, man, I'm glad our paths crossed, and I always love to, especially I know you're a little bit newer to the sign industry, and you've made a commitment to serve other sign shops, and to be strictly wholesale. So I think that's great. So I encourage everyone from the behind the signs community or the sign industry, to give Jason's company a try. It's great to have a relationship with a small niche wholesale manufacturer and make a bunch of extra money selling acrylic signs with acrylic dimensional letters without having to go buy all the equipment to do it. So
yeah.
All right. Well, Jason, any parting words to the sign community before we sign off?
Yeah. Well, I guess just our job here is to try to make life easier for you and to help you sell more signs. So if we can do that, if there's a way that we can serve you better, let us know. We'd love to help you out.
Oh, that's great. I love it. All right, everyone.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thank you. And thanks everyone for joining us today. Go sell some signs. If you are interested in being featured on Behind the Signs, we would love to connect with you and hear about the unique ways you are working in the sign industry. Please reach out to us on our Facebook group Behind the Signs and send us a direct message.